Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy Sneak This. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I want to ask that you hit that like, subscribe, and that bell so that you can get any notification on when I drop any new content. And if you're coming back to the channel, I want to thank you for coming back to check your boy out. Peace. What's up, guys? Your boy Sneak This. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the LeBron 18. But before we take a look at the LeBron 18, I want to have a conversation with you guys for LeBron James as the GOAT, i.e. the greatest of all time to ever play the game. As you guys know, the Los Angeles Lakers just recently won the NBA championship, which cemented LeBron's fourth championship since he's been in the league. I had a conversation with my guys, and I'm like, man, look, I seen Jordan play, I seen Kobe play, and I seen LeBron play. Now, the conversation on GOAT, greatest of all time, I think it's a subjective conversation, and it's based off of, what your preference is as a basketball fan. But when you consider everything that LeBron has done in the league since he's been in the league, came in the league in 2003, dubbed the chosen one, and with all of the pressure that was put on his shoulders, everything that he had to go through in his NBA career, I think, honestly, you can make that argument. So let's look at these stats and what I consider to be his key points for somebody to make the argument for LeBron to be the GOAT. So this season with the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron actually averaged his lowest points per game total at 25.3 points per game, but he offset that lowest points per game total with his highest assists per game total at 10.2 assists per game, which is just nuts. Considering the fact that LeBron is a forward, kind of like a hybrid player, like a point forward. He was asked this year to have the ball in his hands a lot more, so he played the point more than anybody else on the team. So this year he actually got his highest assists per game that he's ever gotten in his career, which is just incredible for a player of his size. When you consider LeBron in terms of points, LeBron is actually number 3 on the all-time point scored list, only behind Karl Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron comes in at 34,241 points in his entire career. This is just nuts, considering the fact that it's such a high point amount for any player, and LeBron is number 3 on that list. So again, 34,241 points for his entire career. Now let's take a look at assists. When you take a look at assists, LeBron is actually number 8 on the assist list, and he comes in at 9,346 assists for his entire career. Now this, again, is just crazy because you got to consider the point guards that have come through the league. You're talking about the Jason Kidds, the Gary Payton, the Magic Johnsons, the Chris Pauls. Like, all of these guys are great point guards, but the difference between them and LeBron James is the fact that LeBron James was never really asked to be point guard for his entire career. He's played off the ball a lot, but he is a grade A passer. So this is something that has enabled him to get within that top 10 on that assist list. And again, just crazy, number 8 on the assist list. Now, when you take a look at the rebounds for his entire career, LeBron actually comes in at number 48 on the rebounds list. So that's 9,405 rebounds for his entire career. Number 48, once again, on that list. And, that just screams to his versatility as a player. So not only was he able to score points, not only was he able to dish the ball out and get his team involved, but he's also, scrambling on the boards and going down in the hole and pulling down a lot of rebounds for his team. So just, again, crazy to think about. Now, when it comes to NBA playoff points, a lot of people consider the regular season to be, kind of irrelevant. It's important because, yes, you got to play in the regular season to get to the playoffs, but everybody knows when you get to the playoffs, that's what really matters. So, looking at LeBron's career points that he scored in the playoffs, it's just crazy. LeBron has 7,463 points scored in the playoffs for his entire career, and he's actually the #1 scorer in the playoffs for his whole career of any player to ever play in the NBA. Now, another thing that I think LeBron kind of set himself apart with the other players is just his ability to get triple doubles. Now, as you guys know, #3 on that points list, #8 on the assist list, and #48 on the rebounds list. And this also translates into what he was able to do in the playoffs. Now, in the playoffs, LeBron actually has the most triple doubles for any player in the finals. So that's the top of the top. Prime time, LeBron has 10 triple doubles, which is #1, more triple doubles than anybody that's ever played the game in the finals, which is, again, when it matters. Now let's think about in terms of winning the finals MVP, because as you know, the finals MVP is the person that impacted the series the most when playing in the finals. LeBron actually is the only player in NBA history to ever win the finals MVP on 3 different teams. So first MVP was on the Miami Heat. He actually won back-to-back MVPs on that team. Second MVP was with the Cleveland Cavaliers when the Cavaliers beat the Golden State Warriors in that historic comeback that the Cavs placed against the Warriors. And then the 4th MVP was this year playing with the Los Angeles Lakers. So again, an incredible feat, and he's the only player to ever accomplish that feat. Now, in terms of actually going to the finals, so it's so many great players that have actually played the game. Like, you guys think back, it's players that's played the game that haven't even made it to the finals at all. Now, this is actually one of the things that a lot of people say that LeBron has against him for that GOAT conversation, is the fact that he's been to the finals so many times. But, you know, he's only won 4 of them. But LeBron has been to the final 10 times. So 10 times, 17 seasons, LeBron James has been to the final 10 times, which is just absolutely incredible. Actually, the 3rd most finals appearances of any player that's ever played the game. He's only behind Sam Jones of the Boston Celtics and also the great Bill Russell of the Boston Celtics as well. Incredible. Now, when we think about GOATs, you know, definitely where the greatest players set themselves apart is by being selected to the All-NBA team, whether it's 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. LeBron leads the league for All-NBA selections with 16. So he's been selected to the All-NBA team more than any player ever in the history of the game. Now, again, we go back to that finals MVP stat. LeBron actually has 4 finals MVP, so he's been the MVP in all 4 of his finals wins that he's had in his career, and that's actually the 2nd most of any player to ever play the game, only behind Michael Jordan. Another great stat. Now, we look at overall career average statistics for LeBron James. LeBron comes in at 27.1 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, and 7.4 assists per game, which is just incredible. And I mean, the guy's still putting up numbers. So, you know, when you think in terms of that GOAT talk, once again, I think LeBron has a legit argument to be considered the GOAT. And the crazy thing is he's still playing. So, I mean, who knows what he's going to do, you know, for the remainder of his career. But I think if it was done today, if LeBron retired today, you would have a legitimate argument for him to be the greatest player of all time, man. So shout out to LeBron. Shout out to the Lakers, man, on that championship win. And, I mean, just keep being great, man. Now, the LeBron 18 was released on October 9th, 2020. And this particular colorway was the James game, or also the multicolor colorway. And the James game name was actually a nod to his family, his wife, and his 3 kids. If you guys can see on this shoe, James Gang, you know, what they did with that was they got so many of these different colors, but they played off that gang moniker. And with the colors that they have on here, it reminds me of graffiti, which I believe is the connection of the name Gang on the shoe and the graffiti that's on here, James Gang. So super dope with that theme. And LeBron James and Nike always has, like, you know, the best things with the shoes that they drop and the shoes that they create. Now, one of the key features of this shoe is the tongue of the shoe. The tongue of the shoe is made of a very, very thin, flexible material, kind of similar to plastic. So very thin throughout that tongue. And then also on the top of the tongue, which makes for great cushioning with the shoe, they have 3 air bubbles going down the tongue in the front of it. And the air bubbles also fold on the inside, and they translate and actually end up making contact with your foot, the top of your foot, which adds for great cushioning with this shoe. So that felt really good with the performance, and I think was a really good feature on that. Now, one of the things that I seen that they changed up on this particular model of the shoe was they took the air pods out of the front that were prevalent on the LeBron 17s. So with the 18s, they took that air pod out, which made the shoe feel lighter. Another thing that made the shoe feel lighter was the fact that this is a low cut around the ankle. So as you guys can see, you got that anklet area cut out on both sides. So again, with the decrease in the material in the tongue and also the cutouts within the ankle area, it made this shoe feel more like a low top shoe, even though it's technically considered a mid top shoe. But when you put it on, it feels like a very, very lighter shoe. Now, this shoe really felt similar to the LeBron 17. It was a smooth evolution of what they tried to do with this one. So they came in with the upper of this shoe with the same material that they had in the LeBron 17s, which is the fly posit material, which is a combination of the fly knit and the foam posit. This material was actually heat treated to make it tough and thin, but at the same time with the fly posit, it takes the aspects of the fly posit and has that flexibility within the shoe. So that felt similar to LeBron 17s. Now, another feature that they brought back from the LeBron 17s is the Air Max bubble on the back of the shoe. So on that heel, you still have that same size, which is the biggest Air Max bubble that's ever been placed in any basketball shoe. So they carried that back over from the LeBron 17. And then they also have on the very bottom of that the full length zoom unit throughout. So with the fly posit coming back, the Air Max bubble in the heel, and then the zoom air unit throughout the sole of the shoe, the entire shoe, you still get that same type of feel that you got with the LeBron 17. So a similar feel to that shoe. Now, this is a performance shoe, so I had to take it to the court and I had to really test it out. Tested this shoe out for about a week after getting it, and definitely you can feel the effects of that zoom air throughout the sole of the shoe, because you get a lot of bounce and you get a lot of responsiveness on that. And then you can also feel the effects of the max air bubble that's in the heel of the shoe, because you get that explosiveness off every single jump. You know, when your feet hit the ground, you have to jump back up. So a very, very light shoe, similar to how the LeBron 17s felt, and probably the best performance shoe out there right now as far as new sneakers. Now, another key feature on this shoe was the fact that they added the TPU to the back of the shoe behind the foot. So what this does is it gives you that lockdown feel, so that it doesn't feel like your foot is moving around too much, and it provides a lot of stability when you're making your cuts, when you're making your jumps, whenever you're playing on the court. And that is coupled with the fly wire that actually knits into the shoe. This fly wire actually goes on the inside of the shoe. You feel on the inside of it, you can feel it going underneath the sole of the shoe. So that fly wire goes throughout. So when you tie your shoe down, your shoe gets that cuff feel of that tie down, and it fits like a really, really tight glove on there. And the fact that they have the fly wire connecting with the lace loops at the top, you guys can see lace loops meet on both sides at the top, each one of them, and it basically again gives you that lockdown feel. So when you tie these up, you feel like your foot is in one place and it's not moving around. It's not giving you a lot of issues with you cutting and moving in a very tight feel. So excellent for performance aspect. Now these shoes did to me feel more like a leisure shoe than a LeBron 17s. So I felt more comfortable wearing these outside in leisure because they give you that Air Max feel due to the bubbles that are prevalent in the soles of the shoes. So real comfortable shoe, and I think it's more of a leisure shoe than that 17. So really good feature. Now, as far as price point, these shoes did come in at $200 for the retail before taxes, $200. So about $220 after taxes. And I think it's a really good shoe. If you're looking for a performance shoe out there, newer performance shoe, I would definitely go with these because Nike spared no expense in designing these shoes. Final verdict on the LeBron 18. Again, these are a really comfortable shoe with that max air unit in the sole and also that zoom air unit in the sole, coupled with that Flyposite material. Probably the best performance shoe out there right now as far as new shoes that I've seen, me personally. And this is probably going to be my primary basketball shoe. So if you into getting really good performance shoes, and also, like I said, they feel real good as a leisure shoe because they feel like more of a low top cut shoe, even though they're technically mid tops. But since they got that missing material around the ankle area, I think it feels more like a low top shoe. So you can do them leisure, you can do them performance. It's a really good shoe. So I would definitely say this is a cop. So that's going to be it for me, guys, on this review of the LeBron 18 James Gang or multicolored. I want to ask, if this is your first time tuning into the channel, that you hit that like, that subscribe, and that bell to get any notifications on when I drop any new content. And if you're coming back to the channel, I want to thank you for coming back. And with that, I want to wish you peace, happiness, health, and prosperity. Take it easy.